Hey everybody, it's AJ here, and I have just spent the entire day on this Honda Pioneer 1005, and it is the special trail edition. So a product that I haven't actually had much seat time on for quite a few years. Remember, when it comes to Pioneer 5, it's a 3-seat front bench, and then in the rear there's 2 pop-up seats. I'm going to show you that in just a minute. Super cool. Actually, this is probably the most transformer-like side-by-side in the industry right now. Yeah, we got the R-Max with the seats that slide forwards, but you don't get a tilting rear bed and those seats take up a bunch of space. When I show you the back of this thing, you're gonna be really impressed. It's actually very cool. Trail edition from Pioneer. So you've got your standard 3-seat Pioneer. It's a 1000, this is a 1000 as well. Then you go up to the Deluxe. The Deluxe gets you the 5-seat transforming rear bed area, so you get the 5 seats. You get really nice coloration on the Deluxe, and there's a few other creature comforts, power steering, things like that come included on it. Nice 14-inch aluminum rims. It's a nice looking package, but you know, basic steel body shocks, no winch, and a couple other things that I'll talk about in a sec. When you go to Trail Edition or the Forest Edition, that's where things really step up the game. Trail Edition is what we have today, and that gives you i4-wheel drive, which i4-wheel drive is an automatic diff lock is what I'm gonna call it. It knows when the wheels are slipping, it knows where to send power, and it sends power there. You don't have to think about it. Super easy to use because you don't have to do anything. You put it in 4-wheel drive and it's ready to rock. Now this does have obviously 2-wheel drive. It has turf mode, so it unlocks the rear differential, and then it has 4-wheel drive, which i4-wheel drive is engaged all the time. That comes on the Trail and Forest Edition. As well as we're gonna get cool coloration and graphics. On top of that, we have the Fox QS3 shocks. Now those are hidden underneath there and they're a little dirty because we've been out ripping today, but Fox QS3 shocks are an awesome shock system. Super nice to have. They work really good and they're adjustable. So easy 3-position adjustment, super simple to use. We love that. The 4,500-pound Warn winch that's labeled with Honda on the front, but it does say Warn in there as well. I think it's a VRX 4500, so you get a nice winch included as well. Front bumper on this is actually the same as on the Deluxe package. And we also have the DCT dual clutch transmission, which means that there's essentially 2 clutches inside. One's running, you know, the odd number gears, one's running the evens, and it's essentially prepping you for the next gear ahead of time. Can-Am uses the same thing on their Maverick R. Performance cars use the same thing. So pretty cool. When you're driving it, you'll notice that it does really shift smoothly. Low RPMs. When I did the test ride today, my wife and kids came along with me, and actually my wife did a lot of the driving because I wanted her opinion of a side-by-side. That's kind of a lot of things that she's asked for in the past. Hey, I want a small wheelbase so that we can make the turns tighter, because when I bring a 4-seat or a 6-seat home, she goes, this thing takes a city block to turn around. I don't like that. So small wheelbase answered her question. She loves the fact that it has a tilting rear box on it because she's like, hey, we can go out and do, or sorry, I can go out and do lots of yard work with it. I'm just kidding, honey, I love you. She gets me to, you know, bring bags of topsoil or bags of mulch or whatever it is. And that's really important to have the box on the back. But then the fact that it also tilts, super handy, because when we put junk in there, you can tilt it out and it, you know, it gives you even more capability. But the coolest part about it, and I think the thing that she liked the most when we were out doing the test ride today, is that that rear bed transforms into 2 more seats. So we tossed my kids in, went for a ride. There's no other side-by-side that does all of those things all in one, and that really answers a lot of questions. So she really enjoyed it. But coming back to the transmission, the one thing that she did find a little bit different, because she's used to driving, you know, a different brand with a CVT, is that she said at low speed, you can feel it when it's shifting. And I said, just give it some RPM, go a little bit faster and see what you think. Once you pick up and you're going a little bit faster, the transmission really is buttery smooth. At lower RPMs, you're gonna feel it notching into that next gear a little bit, and it does lunge just the slightest bit. That's not a problem for me, because at low RPM, I'm either just taking off and starting to accelerate, and that's fine, or I'm doing stuff around the yard, and I don't expect this thing to shift like a performance car at low RPM, so no problem there. Like I said before, it's got turf mode. Some other things that are both beneficial. My kids, when they were in the back, they said, hey Dad, we like that there's nets on this because, you know, we couldn't put our hands out and the sticks don't hit us as we drive past the trees. And I went, wow, that's something that I didn't think about, because initially I look at the nets and I go, man, I would take those off right away if it were me, and I would much prefer to have a door that's just a little bit higher if it's looking for protection. The nets do open backwards to one another, which makes it just a little bit, I don't know. It would be nice if maybe the nets somehow were attached to a door and everything just worked in harmony, because it almost feels like you're trying to jump into the jungle gym here. So there's a lot of netting on this. I imagine a lot of people probably opt to take these off as soon as they get it home. I'm not saying to do that. They do keep you safe. They keep your arms and, you know, shoulders and stuff from going outside of the vehicle should you ever have, you know, a branch coming past, or if you get yourself in a really bad situation and you tip it over or whatever, it keeps your body inside the vehicle. I know they're looking for safety, but at the end of the day, it's something that probably is going to bother most people right away. Up front, we have a full bench, which is cool. And one of the neat things on the bench, I've never seen this before on a side-by-side, you got the handle straps. It reminds me of like a Sea-Doo or something like that, you know, where they got the hand strap to hold on to. So instead of having big protruding strap or handle holds coming out the front, you just reach down beside you and you've got hand straps, which is kind of cool. There is no tilt down center armrest. Probably that means that you've got a more comfortable seat for that center driver or center passenger, but there is no tilt down armrest with extra cup holders. There is lots of space in the front of the dash here. There's all kinds of bungee corded, you know, retained areas that you can put all kinds of gear, tools, if you want to put your pruning shears or your gloves, extra water bottles, your wallet, your cell phone, whatever, all kinds of stuff. Then there's the glove box as well as a little storage pocket up top as well. So lots of area there. It does have the automatic feature on this side-by-side. When my wife was driving it, she was like, oh, paddle shifter's really cool, but I'd probably leave it in auto all the time. And I was like, I think 99% of the time people do that. On a Honda Talon, I can see where having the paddle shifters is something that you'd be like, yeah, let's use that. I know they're trying to sport up the Pioneer, but at the end of the day, I think 99% of the time people are gonna leave it in auto, but the paddle shifters are here in case you do wanna shift it when you're going down the trail. There's also a dedicated button for manual and auto, and then a dedicated button for sport mode, which I believe just increases those shift points, makes everything a little bit sportier, and just kind of, you know, gives you a little sportier feel. So that's fine that it has it. The gauge package on the Pioneer is not anything to write home about. It's very small LCD display. It works good. It gives you all the information and it does everything fine. It's just we're used to something a little bit larger on almost all other side-by-sides right now. So something to talk about. When you go down to traction, we actually have a really nice set of 14-inch rims on this. Now, if you go to the Forest Edition, everything's blacked out 14. If you go to the Deluxe, the 14-inch rims on the Deluxe and the Forest Edition are exactly the same. If you go to just the 3-seat 1000, they're a steel rim. This is the only one that gets this kind of nice like milled look, or whatever you want to call that, brushed aluminum accent. Yeah, works pretty good. The Dirtmaster tires are a nice tire, 27-inch. They work good, give good traction. They're fairly aggressive. I like to see a nicer tire like this from a you know, a real brand. This is nice. This is a nice tire to come on this package, and I appreciate the fact that Honda has put this on here, because sometimes we see low rolling resistance, not terribly aggressive tire, and at this price point, I think it's important to have a nice tire package right from the factory so you don't feel like you need to go out and change them, and you absolutely don't. Same with shocks, like I was saying, QS3s, no reason to change these whatsoever. Let's go to the back of this thing. 2,500 pound towing capacity. You can tow lots of stuff with this. The rear box is in the like haul mode right now. I'm gonna call it the carry mode. If you want to tilt the rear box, another slight complaint is just a lot of manufacturers nowadays, Can-Am does this with like a pull cord for their door openers. I know nobody wants to put door handles on the outside, but man, I like door handles on the outside. Anyways, that's enough of that. If you want to tilt the rear box, you just come in, you lift this right here, rear box goes up. Now, the nets in the back are another thing that will drive you nuts, because you can't tilt the rear cargo bed unless you release the rear nets from inside the cargo bed, release this front strap, lift the net over top of this rear handle, then the cargo bed will fully tilt. And it will fully tilt. It works really good. But that's something that's just a little bit of a complaint of mine. And figuring out where to put these things, I'm sure there's a way, and I could research it, that, you know, these things all snap out of the way, but the nets are not my favorite thing. The doors are very cool, and this door back here works really good. The handle is inside again, but look at how big it is. Like, very sizable, swings right out of the way. There is a cup holder back there for the kids or the people who are riding in the back. And there's even a nice step up here for you to get onto. It's easy to get into because the roll cage is here and the handle at the back. You can get in this thing no problem. And then the way that these seats convert is just, they lift up, they snap back, the little seat back comes down, and it just pops into place, and Bob's your uncle. Well, maybe he's not your uncle, but he could be your cousin. It's a great setup. The seat belts are up top here. You unsnap these and you just pop them into these two spring-loaded seat belts at the bottom, so you get a full lap belt. Works really good. The other side goes exactly the same way, and then when you want that back down around the back, there's just a little button back here. You push it. It's like spring, or it's almost like assisted down. It's like a slow close tailgate. Works really good. Goes back down. Oh, you know what? I do this every time. Don't forget to put the seat back up. Goes up, clips into place, then it goes down. Just like that. Stores away nicely. Door goes down and works great. Now, something that you can buy from Honda, and I would suggest if you use your Pioneer 5 for any kind of yard work that involves mulch, dirt, gravel, sand, anything that's small and can fit through little cracks, buy the liner that goes inside of this. I actually believe that it should come with this vehicle. It's a premium vehicle. It's at a premium price point. I believe that the liner should come with this thing, because the first time you dump anything back here, you know, you're shoveling dirt in here and you're like, hey, I got a tilting rear dump bed. This is great. You're gonna find out real quick that all of that sand, gravel, pea gravel, mulch, topsoil, anything you've got is gonna fall down in, and it's all going to be inside of here. I moved a little bit of some old hawthorn branches and some apple tree prunings, and it's all underneath the seat right now, and that's pretty heavy stuff, or not heavy, but thicker, larger diameter things. You're gonna get all of your material through this, through the back of the seats, and that's gonna annoy you, because when you go to put somebody in there and sit them in there, they're gonna go, let's get a hose or a power washer first. So I do think the cargo liner should come with it. You can get it from Honda. It's a bit of a pricey thing. In Canada, it's almost $600. So, but you can get it. So that's something that I think should come with this vehicle for sure. But all in all, the fact that you have 5-seat capability in a 4-seat, or sorry, in a 2-seat, 3-seat wheelbase as traditional to other manufacturers, with still keeping your tilting rear cargo bed. I have no idea how they even engineered this whole thing to tilt. Like, when you look at it and you see everything that moves and you're like, mind blown. Like, good job, Honda engineers. You guys figured this thing out and you did a good job. Now, when everything is closed up, I don't even, like, I look at this and I go, well, it looks like there's a side step on it, but I would not expect that this carries 5 people. I would tell you right away, I'd say, oh, this doesn't carry 5 people. This is a 3-seater. It's got a bench seat up front. The fact that they've been able to seamlessly integrate everything in here and still keep that bed tilting is awesome. Anyways, enough about that. I know I'm a little enamored by that whole rear bed area, because truthfully, this is the type of vehicle I could own myself. And my wife told me as we're riding, she's like, this makes so much sense. She's like, you know, we own a Honda SUV. She's like, maybe we should own a Honda side-by-side too, honey. And I was like, oh, is that what you think? And then she told me that's gonna happen. But anyways, the 1000cc engine works really good. Same engine that you're gonna find in the Talon, same engine that you're gonna find in the Africa Twin, the like massively popular adventure bike. So this motor is tried and true, but then again, it does have these 5 letters on the front that says Honda. So you know this thing's gonna last for a long time. You know it's overbuilt. You know that durability is gonna be never in question. Reliability is going to be absolutely top shelf. It's gonna be here until the next ice age comes. Really, really solid vehicle. Everything works good on it. I found the valving of the QS3s to be just a little bit stiff. I have it in full soft mode right now. I do find it just a little bit stiff. If I put 4 full-size adults in there, you know, 2 full-size adults instead of 2 kids in the back, I think probably I could click those clickers up a little bit and use that. Or if I was hauling a large load, maybe I'd put the clickers up just a bit. But I found it slightly oversprung or overdamped, one or the other, but it wasn't bad. It's a very sporty feel, so you can go out and rock this thing through the corners and it does not roll and lumber through things. It feels very sporty. I think probably the QS3s could be dropped down one where there's one lower setting, leave it in the 3 setting, but have the stiffest setting be medium and add one, or sorry, have the stiffest setting gone. Medium could be the number 3, the highest setting, and then add one lower into it just so we get a bit more of a softer ride at certain points. But overall, that's a me preference. You might get in it and go, no, this thing's perfect the way that it is because I ride, you know, really fast and really hard and through aggressive stuff, and I like that sportier feel. So I don't mind it. I just think that there could be one softer setting, and that's about all that I have to say about that. Yeah, overall fit and finish, absolutely pristine. There's like handles for entry and exit for passengers all the way around, all kinds of storage, as I said. Really nice build quality. I'm very impressed with this side-by-side. I love the color of it. It's my favorite color that they make. I really do like the deluxe color too. The blue is kind of like, you know, a little bit different, but this one in this kind of, it's like a nice bronzy gold. It's a pretty color. As you can see, it's a little dirty because we've been riding it all day, but it's a really nice looking side-by-side. I'm not going to tell you retail price right now. Go online and check that out. We compared it against some of the other brand vehicles. It's more expensive than other brand 3-seats, but it's less expensive than other brand 5 and 6-seaters. So when it comes to its abilities and the level of quality of shocks and all those things that it has on it. So it really does fall in the proper price category. You're going to look at it and say, you know, but the wheelbase, it's more expensive than I thought. But remember, this is not a 3-seater. This is not a just front bench seat side-by-side. This is a 5-seat side-by-side, and it needs to be priced in that category. And it does it really well. Back seats are a little bit thin on foam, but they needed to fit everything in there. And my kids didn't complain about the thin foam being in it all day. So if you put a full size, like if you put me in there at 220 pounds, I'm probably going to find the limitations of that seat foam after 4 or 5 hours, but it was totally comfortable for my kids who are, you know, early teenagers right now. So that's exactly what I expect from something like this. I'm not going to go and put 250-pound dudes in the back of this thing. That's not probably what I'm planning to do. So it works perfect as the family SUV side-by-side. It does everything that it's supposed to. Reliable, the shifting is great. You can still have fun if you want to use those paddle shifters. It's got QS3s, so you know the shock package is top-notch and you're not going to have to worry about that down the road, or, you know, you get the sporty performance out of it. That 1000cc engine is really, really strong, comes on strong and works good, gets up to a pace that you want to be at without any hesitation or issue at all. It's quiet inside the cab. It's very reasonable noise levels. It's not overly hot or, you know, getting really stuffy inside because of where things are routed or where the engine is. All of that's been thought out in a really, really nice way. And even on a super hot day today, which it's like, I don't know, 85, almost 90 degrees, my kids weren't complaining in the back. So that's awesome. And usually on some other brand side-by-sides, they say, Dad, it's so hot back here. It's so hot. The center hump is so hot. I'm feeling the heat coming off of it. They didn't complain at all today. It's just a really hot day and they were cool. So that's great. Love the Pioneer. It's a really awesome product. Go online and check it out. Get into your dealer, you know, get your hands on it and see what you think. But I'm impressed. I really like this product, and I'm gonna go out and ride it some more. If you guys like this, if this is the kind of content that you're interested in, make sure you like and subscribe. Leave us a comment down below. Luke and I try our best to get on there and answer a bunch of those as much as we possibly can. Mike gets on there all the time and is answering. And let me start this thing up for you because I forget that people like to hear the noise. So let's do that. Super quiet, like probably the most quiet side-by-side I've been in the past quite a while, besides the Ranger EV, or the Ranger Kinetic. It's got a nice noise though.